Opening the diagonal for the queen and bishop immediately, this thrust asserts central presence. Fights for central influence and immediately challenges white's pawn with an unbalanced, dynamic structure. Instantly seizing central influence, the knight prepares to bolster the pawn advance and control key squares. Fortifying the pawn chain builds a solid defensive structure, anticipating potential queenside pressure. Developing knights symmetrically builds a flexible pawn structure, allowing for control of the center and swift piece play. Fortifying the queenside flank, this move prepares for the eventual nc6 or b5, a flexible approach in this Sicilian setup. Opening the center forcefully initiates a strategic battle for crucial central squares and piece mobility. Unlocking the c-file demands careful piece placement, but surrendering central space prematurely risks positional discomfort. Recapturing the pawn immediately opens the knight's influence and prepares for further central expansion. Developing the knight to its natural square, preparing to castle and challenging white's central pawn. Developing the bishop to g5 directly challenges the knight, aiming to disrupt black's pawn structure and potentially create weaknesses around the king. Black elegantly solidifies their pawn structure, preparing to contest the center and develop their pieces, while subtly reinforcing the d6 square which might have felt a bit exposed. This maneuver anticipates potential central breakthroughs from white, creating a more robust defensive setup and opening lines for development. Opening up the f-file with vigor, white boldly contests central space and prepares an aggressive kingside pawn storm, potentially creating weaknesses around black's monarch. Developing the bishop to e7 solidifies black's pawn chain and prepares for castling, a crucial step in securing the king, while also indirectly challenging white's aggressive central pawn push. Asserting influence over the d5 square, white's queen now eyes the kingside, potentially preparing for castling or supporting a pawn advance. Developing the queen to c7 prepares for a potential b5 pawn push, challenging white's central control and offering better square access for the queen. Securing the monarch on the queen side opens up a bold initiative on the open files, preparing to unleash a battery against black's central pawn structure. Shielding the queen and preparing for a potential kingside push, this development solidifies black's central presence while subtly eyeing the f6 knight's path to e4, a tempting target for white's rooks. Securing the monarch from potential diagonals and centralizing the king's safety is paramount, especially with the opponent's active bishop eyeing the kingside. This move also subtly prepares for potential pawn pushes or rook activity on the c-file, anticipating future maneuvers. Black seizes the initiative on the queen side, threatening to unravel white's central structure and gain crucial space. This pawn thrust ignites a dynamic struggle, aiming to undermine white's carefully constructed kingside castling by opening lines for counterplay and potentially creating weaknesses around the enemy monarch. A bold gambit for queenside expansion. Positioning the bishop to the advanced diagonal offers improved attacking potential, both for pawn storm initiation on the kingside and for putting pressure on black's queenside development. Unleashing a bold pawn thrust, black immediately challenges white's central pawn structure and seeks to disrupt white's queenside development, forcing a decision on how to address the encroaching threat and potentially gaining valuable space. Pulling the knight back to c2 might seem like a concession, but it's a cunning repositioning, aiming to reroute it to a more influential square like e2, from where it can support the d4 pawn, join the kingside attack, or defend the king. This knight retreat subtly acknowledges black's aggressive queenside pawn push, acknowledging that a direct confrontation with the knight on c3 was becoming untenable with black's advancing pawns. The strategic goal is to achieve a more balanced development, avoiding being overly exposed on the queenside while preparing for future middle-game maneuvers. Developing the bishop to b7 prepares to exchange it for white's knight on d4, aiming to relieve pressure on the d6 pawn and potentially open lines for the queenside pawns. It also supports the advance of the queenside pawns further, a common theme for black in this Sicilian setup. Elevating the rook to the open file, white aims to dominate the central waterway, pressuring black's kingside and potentially preparing for an onslaught down the file as the queenside action subsides. Challenging the bishop's placement, this move proactively addresses the increasing pawn wedge on the kingside and attempts to disrupt white's developing harmony before deeper preparations can solidify. The exchange on f6 fundamentally alters the pawn structure, sacrificing the bishop's scope for clarity in the kingside dark squares and offering a potential endgame advantage. The bishop's retreat to f6 solidifies the pawn structure on the kingside and prepares for potential counterplay on the queenside, a classic response when facing an attack on the king. Redirecting pressure to the queenside, this maneuver eyes the c4 square, aiming to exploit the potential weakness created by black's pawn push. The queen steps forward, eyeing the queenside pawns and the vulnerable knight on c3, a bold repositioning that forces white to reevaluate their kingside castling posture. A curious retreat for the queen, repositioning to guard the kingside and potentially support a later g4 push, although it relinquishes central activity and grants black increased freedom to develop their pieces more aggressively on the queenside. Unleashing a pawn storm on the kingside, black aims to disrupt white's castled king and create immediate attacking chances, potentially opening lines for their pieces. Navigating the open files, white redirects the knight to d3, aiming to solidify the center and prepare for potential pawn pushes or rerouting for a queenside assault, subtly shifting the pressure from the kingside where black's aggressive pawn advance has created some weaknesses. The queen exchange, trading off the most powerful piece, signals a shift towards a more positional struggle, potentially simplifying the complex middle game for black. The immediate recapture of the rook solidifies white's central presence and prepares for a potential kingside advance, while subtly addressing the now unbalanced pawn structure after black's aggressive pawn push. Opening the d-file with the bishop's retreat offers a much-needed defensive reinforcement and prepares for potential counterplay on the queenside. It's a subtle shift, acknowledging the pressure and seeking to rebalance the board by activating the dormant bishop. Reinforcing the kingside pawn structure solidifies the white king's safety after the earlier castling to the queenside, aiming to create a stable defensive perimeter against any potential black pawn advances. The king bravely ventures out, seeking refuge and potential activity on the kingside, aiming to avoid the impending storm brewing on the queenside from white's aggressive pawn push. A bold attempt to shatter black's queenside pawn structure, this advance immediately challenges the pawn chain, aiming to pry open lines for white's rooks and potentially create weaknesses around the black king. Stepping onto the queenside, this pawn push aims to seize greater space and potentially open a path for the knight to join the fray via a4, though it does create a slight backward pawn on c6 later if not supported. Liberating the c-file and aiming for control of the open column, this pawn thrust aggressively challenges black's queenside structure, potentially forcing concessions and opening lines for white's rooks to exploit. A critical juncture where black consolidates the queenside initiative, seizing control of a newly opened file and preparing to leverage the superior pawn structure for queenside counterplay. The bishop retreats to a more secure diagonal, eyeing potential weaknesses on the queenside and preparing to offer support to the central pawn structure. Pivoting the bishop to the queenside, black repositions a key piece to exert pressure along the long diagonal, eyeing potential targets and preparing for future pawn advances, while simultaneously freeing up the d-file for potential rook activity and bolstering the defense of the queenside pawn structure. Reactivating the rook to its central file, a logical step to prepare for a potential fight over the open files or to support pawn advances later. Initiating the Rh-G8 maneuver signals a potential repositioning of the rook to a more active file, aiming to exert pressure along the g-file, perhaps in anticipation of an eventual pawn push or a shift of focus towards the kingside. This seemingly modest development might be the prelude to a deeper strategic plan, exploiting the currently somewhat passive nature of black's pieces and the lingering questions surrounding white's king's safety. It's a subtle assertion of intent, promising future complications. White unleashes a bold pawn thrust, dramatically injecting tension into the kingside and seeking to pry open lines towards black's potentially vulnerable monarch. This maneuvering piece on c8, the rook, now eyes the open c-file with renewed purpose, potentially challenging white's queenside initiative and threatening to flood into the heart of the enemy position, creating dynamic imbalances. Clearing the way for the queen to re-enter the fray, this maneuver aims to activate white's dormant knight and potentially threaten pawn advances on the king side, seeking to exploit the somewhat exposed black king position. Injecting the knight into the center creates immediate tactical complications and eyes the weakened dark squares around white's king. Unlocking the c-file and preparing a potential breakthrough, this knight repositioning aims to disrupt black's precarious pawn structure on the queen side and create new avenues of attack. Saddling the knight to that advanced square, aiming for the kingside pressure, feels a bit optimistic given the open g-file and the exposed black king. This maneuver invites a counterattack. Consider how white's queen can redeploy to join the assault on the enemy monarch, potentially exploiting the weakened pawn structure. The immediate threat isn't overwhelming, but the long-term positional implications are concerning. Refocusing the rook to the more active open file is a sensible repositioning, aiming to challenge black's impressive knight outpost and eventually shore up the weakened kingside. Black's bishop now stakes a claim on the important diagonal, eyeing white's weak d3 square and preparing to support the kingside advance. Doubling rooks on the g-file, white aims to exert pressure and potentially open lines towards black's king, a welcome change from the passive maneuvering seen earlier. A bold initiative to stir up the queenside and introduce tactical possibilities, aiming to exploit the open c-file and potentially disrupt white's pawn structure. Rerouting the knight via the central squares offers a strategic repositioning, aiming to establish better defensive coverage on the queenside and potentially contest the open c-file if black allows it, though it sacrifices immediate central presence. Unleashing the knight to the center dramatically reshapes the battlefield, aiming to exploit the now exposed white king and disrupt the opponent's coordination. Recapturing the rook on the g-file allows white to prepare for a potential queenside pawn push, aiming to create weaknesses in black's cramped position and potentially open lines for attack. The rook's relocation to d8 signifies a potential regrouping, aiming to bolster the d-file and challenge white's control, possibly preparing for a future advance or a defensive maneuver to protect the king's sector. Sacrificing tempo to break open lines around the enemy king, this gambit aims to exploit the exposed dark squares and potentially activate the f-file for further pressure. King safety has become a pressing concern for black, as the monarch is exposed on the dark squares, and the g-file now presents an open highway for white's rooks. A calculated risk, accepting a doubled pawn on the d-file to pry open lines and disrupt black's pawn structure. The material balance shifts dramatically with this capture, fundamentally altering the game's character from a complex positional struggle to a more open, dynamic affair where the rook's new central presence on the now open file demands immediate attention. The exchange on d6 solidifies white's control of the now open d-file, creating a powerful central outpost for the rook and putting significant pressure on black's somewhat awkward piece placement, particularly the bishop on a6. The black rook now abandons its post on the d-file, leaving the d6 pawn vulnerable to a pawn push. This maneuver also opens up a potential diagonal for white's remaining pieces to attack the black king, which looks increasingly exposed with the g-file now somewhat weakened. The exchange on c6 finally resolves the dangerous doubled pawns for white, opening the c-file for immediate pressure and simplifying into a more manageable endgame where the active rook can dominate. The dust settles, revealing a knight boldly venturing into a now open landscape, a testament to the prior skirmish that stripped away central pawns and invited such exchanges. This capture fundamentally alters the material balance, initiating an endgame where pawns become the primary currency and king activity will soon be paramount. Focusing on the newly opened diagonal for the bishop, this repositioning aims to create immediate pressure against black's potentially exposed king position, hinting at a future pawn push or piece sortie to exploit any lingering weaknesses. Reclaiming central space and preparing to activate the bishop by repositioning it to a more robust diagonal. Shifting the knight to d2 aims to reorient the cavalry toward the queen side, potentially supporting a pawn push like c5, or preparing to redeploy to a more active square like c4, thereby enhancing the structural integrity of white's pawn chain and offering greater flexibility in responding to black's doubled rooks. Emboldening the kingside pawn structure further initiates a dangerous advance, potentially carving out new attacking avenues at the cost of weakening the king's immediate shelter. Fortifying the pawn structure and activating the bishop on the queen side by repositioning it to a more influential diagonal is the logical continuation. Igniting a pawn storm on the king side to disrupt white's king safety, this aggressive thrust aims to exploit the potential weaknesses created by white's earlier rook exchange and the centralized black knight. The knight's leap to c4 aims to solidify control over key central squares, specifically d6 and e5, while potentially preparing for future pawn pushes or a repositioning to attack the king's defenses. The bishop emerges from its retreat, aiming to contest control of the central diagonal and potentially support further pawn advances on the king side. Re-establishing pressure on the d-file, the knight now aims to support a potential advance on the queen side, forcing black to consider how to solidify their pawn structure under this renewed assault. The knight bravely ventures into enemy territory, seeking a strong outpost on d4, potentially disrupting white's centralized pieces and threatening the vulnerable pawn chain. Opening the king's escape route forces black's hand to defend their monarch, disrupting their pawn structure and potentially exposing weaknesses. The king, having ventured out, now faces immediate threats as the pawn advances, cutting off escape routes and creating a powerful central presence for white's remaining pieces. Initiating development of the bishop to a more active square, aiming to disrupt black's currently rather solid pawn chain.